it didn't dawn on me until recently that they named him that because it sounds like Lord Fuckwad.
I didn't even know. You're telling me for the first time.
Well, you're welcome. So do I need an intro?
Just, I mean, not an intro, but like, let people know who you are, what they're watching.
Hello. Welcome. I don't know if this is welcome back. This is just welcome. I don't know if this is the first episode or we're releasing this later, but we're going to pretend it's the first one and I'm going to say hi. Welcome. Happy to have you. Wherever you're listening or watching from. I hope it's somewhere cool. I hope it's Fiji. If it's not Fiji,
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
We look at your stats. You have one listener in Fiji and now it's all worth it.
One listener in Fiji. This is all for you, Jonathan. Jonathan from Fiji.
Why has it got to be a man?
It just, I'm a pick me. It's fine. Right?
Valid.
I don't know. That's what I've been called. It's fine. Yeah. Hi. It's me. I have a podcast now, which is kind of crazy. And I told everybody that I had a podcast before I had a podcast, which is dangerous territory. That's not a smart thing to do. Don't do that. Don't announce that you have a podcast and then go to your husband, who's a professional podcast guy, and be like, by the way, we have to do this now. And then make him sit here in a random studio at 9 p.m. So over. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay, though. This is going to be great. This is going to pay our bills one day, and then everyone will be happy, including you, hopefully.
Don't lean so far. You're getting a shadow on your face, and I can't do anything about the lighting in here, so.
I'm going to do the whole podcast right here now.
Oh, man.
In the shadow.
Luckily, no one cares, including me. That sounded so mean. I care so much about you, and I'm very appreciative of all of the hard work that you're putting
It
into.
only takes you to be on camera.
Oh. Yep. This is going to turn into like one of those marriage podcasts where it's just you and I sitting across a table with mics like having arguments on camera.
Well, I couldn't get the other mic close enough, so we're probably not going to talk that much.
No, this is good. This is great. But I think the fun question is, why in the world am I starting a podcast when there are too many out there? There's too many podcasts that exist. And everyone and their mother is starting a podcast. I'm talking myself out of doing this right now. It's fine. No, I think in general, I have a lot to say. Clearly, obviously. I don't think anyone is questioning that. But social media is very constricting. You have like 60 seconds if you're using TikTok or Instagram. I feel like I'm going to get this stat wrong, but I think I saw somewhere that you have, what is it, like 0.2 seconds to capture someone's attention, especially on a scrolling platform like TikTok. And if you don't get their attention in those first 0.2 seconds, you're done. They scroll, you don't see it anymore. And I'm definitely guilty of that because I'll be scrolling. And yeah, I'm sorry if you're not interesting, or if you start your video with, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. I never thought that video would blow up, but here's the explanation. Immediately scrolling. I think social media is very restricting, but I do have a lot to say. And I want to create a space and a platform where my peers, and when I say my peers, I mean moms and young women and people and women who are in my stage of life and have my viewpoints and are, maybe they do fall under like the more conservative umbrella or the Christian umbrella, and they feel like there isn't really something out there that isn't overtly in your face political. Like, I'm just kind of going to speak to what is relevant to my life, and what's relevant to my life are things related to motherhood, femininity, marriage, friendships, family, values, etc. But they're all going to kind of be pointed through the lens of a more conservative or libertarian or Christian view. And I think in general, that's probably refreshing. I hope that's refreshing. And if it's not, sorry, that's what's happening. But yeah, so I love social media because of what it's given me and because of the platform that I've gotten from that. But I'm also very over the censorship, the algorithms, the restraints, the restrictions. And I feel like something like a podcast actually gives me the opportunity to say the things that I want to say and to talk about the things that people actually want to hear talked about without having A, the time limit, and B, yeah, like the Big Brother feel of it, right? I mean, Joe Rogan's on Spotify. I can be on Spotify. Is Joe Rogan on Spotify? They didn't take him off? Did they try and take him off?
I don't think so. They gave him like $100 million.
Oh, okay. Well, he's doing fine.
Yeah. They wanted to be exclusive with him.
Yeah. No, I feel like people were mad at him for a while.
They're always mad at Joe Rogan.
Good.
He's
Good
kind
for
of
him.
uncancelable.
True. But okay, is that, I feel like that's more like you either subject yourself to cancel culture or you don't. If you feed into it, you're screwed. Whereas if you, I feel that there is an element of if you laugh in the face of cancel culture, there's only so much it can do.
I'll counter you with the fact that Joe Rogan is also very moderate.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, it's almost, there's personalities out there that are just so in the middle, you can't really come out against them.
Someone who is absolutely insane, but uncancelable, Kanye West. He's nuts. Nuts. I am in no way like a Kanye West supporter or a fan. I don't care. I honestly don't care about Kanye West. But like, the more cancel culture tries to cancel him, and the more he laughs in the face of it and just comes back swinging, like it has the opposite effect. I feel like Kanye West is more in the mainstream now than he has been in the last, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, there's only so much cancel culture can do. I don't even know why we're talking about this. But it's a good point. No, cancel culture is unhinged and absolutely insane. But anyway, I have a podcast now, so I'm probably going to be canceled soon. Can't wait. I'm so excited to see that happen. But yeah, I have my notes, and in my notes here, I literally wrote out like who, what, where, when, and why about this whole endeavor. So I just did the why. Why a podcast? There you go. Now for the who. I think it's pretty self-explanatory that I am me, right? I am Jordan. My name is Jordan. I know I go by Joe online. So yeah, Joe, Jordan. My dad calls me Josie. No one else does though. You can call me Josie if you want to. It's fine. I am the oldest of 7 siblings, come from a big family, big Christian family. We've moved all over the US. We've currently are stationed. Well, that makes me sound military. We're not military. Everybody thinks we're military. We're hanging out here in Texas right now. It's where we currently live. Yeehaw. I'm married, which is pretty sweet. I said earlier that's probably going to take up a big part of what I talk about. My husband, Lee, is the guy who's making this all happen, which is pretty cool. Okay, so like, what is your official job title?
I'm a cinematographer and a video editor, I guess.
There you go. cinematographer, video editor. Is there any like audio?
I minored in audio engineering.
Audio engineering, yeah. So kind of married to the ideal person to do this kind of stuff, which is fantastic. But he refuses to be on camera.
I'm working on it.
I'm below the line.
We're working on it. We'll get there. There was actually a whole bit on TikTok for a while. It was a conspiracy theory formulated by I don't know if you would call them haters, trolls, followers. I don't know. They legit thought that I was making up my husband. They thought he was fake because you never see him. He's never in my TikToks. I think out of the hundreds of TikToks that I've posted over the last couple of years, you're in what, 5? Maybe that. But I always talk about you, or I tell stories with you in them. And so people were like, I don't think this guy exists. I think she's making him up. And there was a solid 2 weeks where in the comments you could find these people like, okay, wait, I went and I looked at her Instagram and there's a couple of photos where he's in them, but it's not like a consistent thing. And he always looks the same. And I don't know. And he doesn't have any other social media. So I think she's making him up. I think he's like a friend and she doesn't want to admit that she's like a single mom. Like this was legit. And it was the funniest thing. And I was telling Lee about it and he wanted to lean into it. He was like, we should go with it. Let's make a video where like in the background for a split second, you see me like reading a script. We talk about how much I pay you. Yeah. I still think we could. I mean, now it's blown, but I feel like we could still do it. We could make it happen. He's not real, guys. I've hired him to sit here and occasionally make comments as if he's my husband. I love it. So anyway, I am married. Maybe. We'll see. I'll leave that one up to interpretation. But yeah, we have a very interesting marriage and relationship story, which I kind of want to save for, a time where I can actually expand on that whole story. But yeah, we met, we're engaged and married all within 6 months. I was pregnant within 3 months of us getting married, had our first baby before our first anniversary. And we've kind of just been in parent mode since then. Now we have 3 kids, which is pretty cool. 3 boys. They're awesome. They're loud, but they're awesome. But yes, I'm a birth doula. I am an aspiring midwife. I started the student midwife journey about 2 years ago. That was cut short. That's also a fun story. I will definitely be telling that story at some point in the future. But that journey was cut short thanks to other people that aren't me, that didn't like me. And we're like, no, you're not allowed to be a midwife here, actually. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I started TikTok and Instagram about 3 years ago, a little under 3 years ago. Totally was one of those like downloaded TikTok at the beginning of the shutdown orders for COVID because I was bored out of my mind, stuck in a house with 2 kids, and all of my siblings were sending each other TikToks and laughing and talking about TikToks. I thought it was so stupid. I thought TikTok was the dumbest social media platform to ever. I still think that, but I make money off of it, so it's fine, and I'll play along. But downloaded TikTok in like March 2020 because I wanted to get in on the inside jokes and started posting TikToks just for fun because, again, I was bored, and here we are. Almost 3 years later, little over 1 million followers. Yeah, I live streamed my birth. So we went from 0 to 100 real quick. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody saw me pull a baby out of a pool. So that's the who. I did the who. Moving on to what? What? This is literally my notes. I'm laughing at myself. I wrote these down in such a hurry. But I feel like, I'm proud of her. I'm proud of past Jordan for what she's done.
She's gotten it.
She tried. She tried real hard. No, she didn't. She didn't try hard at all. She did this in 45 seconds. Like I said earlier, a podcast focused on motherhood, but also everything that entails. Which I'm leaving myself real open here. I mean, what is there that doesn't apply to motherhood in today's day and age? Like everything kind of seeps in and affects everything that you're doing as a parent, especially as a young woman. And suddenly your identity as a mother is so intertwined with so many other things that you like. It's almost hard to figure out what your identity as a mother even looks like. And I am envious of women who were able to confidently root a portion of their identity in motherhood prior to the boom of social media. Because now there's so much of who you are as a parent that is not just being a parent. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if that sounds a little conspiracy theorist, but like, yes, I'm a parent, but are you a crunchy parent? Are you a silky parent? Are you a respectful parent? Are you a gentle parent? Are you traditional? Are you conservative? Are you liberal? Are you free range? Are you respectful? Like all of this stuff that is suddenly kind of shoved into that box alongside just being like responsible for raising humans. You never would have thought would be a thing until suddenly you're doing it and people are asking you these questions and you're faced with these decisions and these ideas that's not in a parent book anywhere. Like you're not reading what to expect when expecting. Oh, by the way, some random lady at the park is going to ask you if you spank your kid on a Tuesday. Here's how to answer that question. Like what? That's not anywhere. You don't know how to do that. And so I want to have a platform where we can just talk about that kind of stuff and talk to other both parents and people that aren't parents who can lend some idea or some insight into these things that are infiltrating parenthood today. And honestly, I like that's why I'm doing this and that's what I'm excited to talk about. I mean, there's already like 2 or 3 people that I have lined up to chat here with me. I mean, Maddie, you're one of them. Like, you're not a mom, but yeah, like, what was that? A couple of weeks ago, we sat here and talked about just a whole bunch of stuff. But it was all like it all came back.
Yeah,
it was all relevant.
Yeah,
I really want this to be focused on honesty, on real shit, on just things that interest me. And I think it would be foolish to say that what interests me does not interest others because I'm sitting here with over 1 million followers on TikTok who clearly they're either following me because they want to watch me crash and burn, in which case, here you go, I'm giving you so much more content. Or you're sitting there and you're following along because you're interested in what I have to say and you relate on a certain level or you find it entertaining. So yeah, here you go. And again, all of it kind of coming through the lens or through the filter of someone who does lean more conservative or libertarian, I guess is probably more accurate. And definitely through the lens of a Christian woman, which again is like, it's also, I don't know, I feel like that's hard to find without feeling like it's super filtered and churchy. That was my what? I already did the where. We're in Texas. I used to live in Michigan. Super exciting stuff. I do really like Texas though. I love living in Texas so far. It's been great. We've been here for about 2 months. I love the overall attitude of everybody here. I'm happy that I'm not trudging through slush on my way to my car. That's great. Funny story. The instance that actually made my husband and I like look at each other and say, okay, enough's enough. We're getting out of Michigan was it was about a year ago. I think it was in January or February of 2022. I was fairly pregnant, very fairly pregnant with our third baby. We had been stuck in the house for like 5 or 6 days because the weather was awful. We had a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. They were going insane. We were going insane, just like extreme cabin fever. So we're like, okay, fine. We are getting out of the house. And we get them all ready to go. We're going to go to this children's museum downtown. We had a membership. It was great. Get them packed up, dressed. Everything's ready. We're getting them in the car. And this is January or February in Michigan. I want to say it was 8 degrees. Maybe. It was so windy that we couldn't hear each other from the other side of the car, like trying to communicate with each other. We had no idea what the other person was saying. The doors on our minivan were literally frozen shut. We couldn't open the doors. We had to open, the only door we could get open was the passenger door. So Lee had to climb in the passenger door, go through the back of the car, and then was like kicking the door from the inside as Pregos is yanking on the outside of the door to try and like literally break the ice. Meanwhile, we have, again, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old standing in the driveway, bundled up in their coats, yelling and screaming and crying because it's icy and mom and dad are yelling at each other and it's windy and I won't let them eat the snow and they're trying to break icicles off the garage and I'm like, don't you dare. They're kicking the snow off the bottom of the car and shoving their hands in it. And I'm like, stop and sit down, but you can't because it's wet and it's icy. Finally, we get the doors open. We're lifting them up. We're shoving them in the car. We're trying to buckle them in. Oh, crap. We got to take their coats off because they can't wear their coats in the car seat. Oh, my gosh. Get them in. Buckle. They're crying the whole time. I'm crying. I'm nauseous. Lee, at one point, while he's buckling, I think he was buckling Jack in his car seat, literally twists and bends over like he's an old man and is like, oh, my back. He like pulled a muscle in his back, slipping on the ice while he's also trying to buckle again in a car seat. We get in the car. We finally have them both buckled in. I go to start the car. The car won't start because it's too cold. So I'm sitting there like, keep trying. Lee jumps out because the window won't defrost. He's scraping the ice off the windshield. Finally, we get the car started. The windshield is scraped off. Lee probably needs to see a chiropractor. Both of the kids are crying. We haven't eaten lunch yet. The wind is howling outside. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. Lee's in the passenger seat. We close both doors. We look at each other. My hair is about here because it's so windy. It's just out in every direction. Lee's hair is out in every direction. We both have windburned face and we're both just like, yeah, fuck this. Why do we live here? Why do we live in a place where it's physically a hazard to go to the children's museum? Like, what is happening? So it was in that moment that Lee was like, okay, fine. We'll move to Texas. We're not doing this again. And so we did. We left before the next winter hit. Yeah. What to expect, though, out of this, aside from rambling stories about us trying to get our kids in the car. Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to be a little bit of everything. Not going to lie. I'm a huge birth nut. Like I said, I'm a birth doula. I'm an aspiring student midwife. I did the very beginning portion of midwifery school before I was literally kicked out. And I was kicked out for being conservative and a Christian, by the way. I'm just putting that out there now. That's a story for another time, but that is absolutely 100% accurate and true, which is insane. I'm a birth nut, so definitely going to be talking a lot about birth and labor and postpartum pregnancy. I am definitely going to have other people on this podcast who have experienced various versions of pregnancy and labor, whether that's just a run-of-the-mill, quote-unquote, regular pregnancy, and variations of that as well. Just because, yeah, again, I feel like it's both fascinating and worthy of storytelling and deserves more of a platform. Even though it already has a huge platform, there's so many like birth-related podcasts out there. This definitely isn't a birth podcast, but it's a big part of who I am. And so it's going to make an appearance and it's going to show up for sure. I think we're probably going to talk a lot about current events. I am in no way like a political commentator, but I do think sometimes it's funny. I'll probably be bringing that in every so often, so don't be surprised. And yeah, family life is really important to me. Family values are very important to me. Obviously, I've talked a lot about being a mom, and so you can probably tell that motherhood is a huge part of my identity. But I'm also, I mean, like honestly, and to be real, kind of still going through the process of figuring out who I am outside of motherhood. And so you're probably going to watch that unfold, and we'll see. It's either going to be a hot mess or, you know, graceful and beautiful. It won't be. It definitely won't be graceful and beautiful. It'll be entertaining, if nothing else. We'll say that for sure. I crocheted a hat yesterday. That's the first thing I've done that was like hobby related in a really long time. To be fair, I crocheted a hat for my child. So it all comes back around. But I did that. Oh my gosh, do you think I could get tattooed here on the podcast? That would not be you know what? That's not great podcast material. It's like, hey guys, is that? I mean, okay, if you're only listening, we're also posting these with video on YouTube. So if you want to just watch me sit in a chair and talk, I'm very expressive. So you can watch me talk. You can watch that. I would highly recommend it because I think I look great. Laugh out loud. Don't laugh silently.
It's like on cute.
You guys are, it's like the
Please increase genuine response by 50%.
No, it's like the live studio audience.
Yeah.
You guys are my live studio audience. But guess what? Live studio audience doesn't work if you're quiet.
I breathed hard out my nose.
You did breathe hard out your nose. That's the equivalent of a laugh.
Yeah.
That's what you do, and then you respond back to your friend, LMAO, in like all caps with the crying, laughing emoji face, when really all you did was, that's it. That's all you did.
That's all.
Yeah. Yes, I want to be more than just babies, but I love babies. There's probably going to be a lot of baby talk. Not like that. Talk about babies on this podcast. And you can laugh out loud. You're trying to hide it.
I don't know. I feel the need to silence myself.
You're my live studio audience. I think I'm hilarious. So it's just, it's a huge ego boost for me when you can also laugh.
Is that why I was invited here tonight?
That's literally the only reason you're here.
She's
Yeah.
like, you can come through to the studio.
You can come hang out at the
You
studio.
can ride with me now.
You can come with me.
ensuring that I get here and I don't have anywhere to go. They're gonna make a conspiracy about me now.
Yeah.
I don't think Maddie's real, you guys.
Well, you're actually on the podcast.
You're on the podcast.
I'm real, but I'm a prisoner.
Right.
Yeah.
You're being paid to be here. For
I'm a
sure.
paid actor.
Well, my mom pays you your monthly friendship subscription.
Actually, Jen doesn't know about it. It's James.
James does? That's
Yeah.
on track. I feel like that tracks for him a little bit. He would pull some shit like that. You know what? I honestly wouldn't be surprised if one day my dad comes to me and he's like, just so you know, all of your friends are fake.
I have masterminded this.
Not to be like mean, but because it's like, this is the greatest prank of all time.
How'd I do?
How'd I do? And I got to sit there and be like, You nailed it, Dad.
The long con.
Great. You did great.
You did great.
You did great. But if all of your friends have been fake your whole life, like imagine that if you're a parent, you find out your entire life, all of your friends were paid. Does it really matter? The memories are there. The emotions were real. The experiences were real for you.
As Phoebe Bridgers did say, all my friends are on the payroll. You're not wrong. You're just an asshole. So there you go.
Exactly.
So my friends are on payroll.
Exactly.
Not wrong.
Right.
Love it.
We'll definitely have guests on here. I want to keep it at least 50-50 guests and solo episodes. I would hope to have more guests than not, just because I think that's more interesting. I like having conversations. I don't know how long I've been talking, but clearly I don't have a problem talking by myself, just at no one. And by no one, I mean my husband and best friend.
So that's what
They're sitting over there. This is helpful, though. Like having people over here, this is very helpful. I feel like it would be so weird to just be sitting here by myself looking at a camera and nothing else. So this makes sense. Now I understand why on podcasts and whatever, like you hear the behind the scenes guy.
Yeah.
Because clearly there's someone there that they're talking to. And if there's not, props to you for being able to talk at a wall for an extended period. I probably could. Let's be real. I think I could probably talk at a wall. My husband's like, yes, you could talk at a wall. I am that wall.
I'm the wall.
Lee's like, I am the wall. Is my shift over yet? Just kidding. We love each other very much. I've been accused of being trapped in a loveless marriage.
Which is hysterical.
Because we thrive on self-deprecation and mutual deprecation.
It sounds sexual.
That sounds terrible.
It does sound really gross. Mutual deprecation. If anyone asks what I'm into.
There you go.
It's just making fun of each other. Fully clothed. And that's as far as it goes.
Says the person with 3 kids.
Right. So it's only happened 3 times. Do I do my outro now?
Yep.
What's your outro?
I don't know.
You can probably wrap this up.
No, I am wrapping this up. That was my wrap up right there. I was talking about our non-sexual kinks.
All right.
I think that's a good place to end it, right? Just, end on a high note.
Sure.
Have people be like, whoa, wait, what? Hey, hang on. What she said, that's it. And it's over.
Tune in
next
weeks.
time. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're going to do
Did not hear about
every
this.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, probably.
That's the plan for now. That might change in the future, but I don't know what I'm doing. So we're gonna say it's every 2 weeks.
Feel it out.
And then we'll feel it out from there. And if you get more, surprise. Congratulations to you for getting to hear me talk more. So jealous. There you go. Every 2 weeks, you can find us on... I'm asking you.
Where do you want them to find you on?
Broadway.
Probably Spotify.
AM Talk Radio.
Probably Spotify and YouTube.
Great.
Probably push your YouTube a little harder.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to say it and then you'd be like, actually, no, that's not what we're doing anymore.
No, we'll put it on Spotify, but actually we might not even put it on Spotify right away.
Okay, well, for sure YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this right now. So subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Great. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Us.
You.
Me. Subscribe to me on YouTube. You might be able to find us on Spotify. And obviously, I was talking about it earlier, I'm on TikTok and I'm on Instagram. jothemama, JOTHEMAMA. This has been Joe the Mama. Is it the Joe the Mama podcast or Joe the Mama the podcast?
Joe the Mama podcast.
The Joe the Mama podcast.
Don't add a Z. It's too many.
It's too many. The Joe the Mama podcast.
Joe the Mama.
Joe the Mama podcast. I've said it too many times, and now it doesn't sound like words anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has actually been really fun, and I'm glad that we're doing this. And
we did it.
We did it. Good night, everybody. I can't there's too many chords. I can't roll away. Okay.
Can't go anywhere.
We're just going to call it a day.
Goodbye.